The G-spot does exist. It definitely exists. However, it's not sexually sensitive for everybody. You might find it's just not a sensation you enjoy. It may just not be very sensitive. Everyone's nerve endings are wired a bit differently. The technical name is actually the urethral sponge. If you lick the top of your mouth, you feel a ridged kind of texture. That's what your G-spot feels like in your vagina. So most of the inside of the vagina feels like the smooth texture of the inside of your cheek. So if you look there, maybe what most of the inside of the vagina feels like. It's kind of like smooth. The G-spot, however, has that ridged kind of texture. Not super far in, as you can see, but just bending forward towards that front wall. So there's kind of like a little dent in there, and that's when you'll start to feel that ridged texture which makes up the G-spot. Sometimes it feels like you need to pee when it's stimulated. So when the G-spot swells up, sometimes people can be like rubbing away, like, is it going to feel magical soon? And they actually just go, I need to pee. That's because it's near your bladder, and when it swells up, it puts pressure on your bladder and just confuses your body a bit. So often people find when they initially start experimenting with G-spot stuff, it can be a little bit of a confusing sensation. So when I was talking about diversity before, some people find that like from the very first time they tried it, G-spot was like magic. There was like fireworks shooting out of their genitals, you know, it was like easy. Whereas some people just are so mystified by it. So there really is a range of experience. But typically the G-spot, you need to be aroused first, so go for the clitoris first. Once you're feeling sexy, then go on your G-spot hunt. If we're also differentiating the sensation or the stimulation techniques for the clitoris and the G-spot, the clitoris tends to be immediately sexually sensitive. So if you like touch it, you're like, oh, that feels kind of sexy, kind of responds, wakes up. Whereas the G-spot is slow to awaken. It tends to respond to a more massage kind of pressure, and that tends to be what will kind of, you know, like fingers kind of massaging against it, that tends to be what will generate sexual sensation there, rather than like a light kind of touch.